That was the name of her teacher, and she was on the. I'm gonna mess this up, man. The
Yeah,
Chehalis,
you're right.
yeah, Chehalis First Nations Band Reservation is where she was at, right?
Mm-hmm.
J.W. Burns was there. If that name sounds familiar, J.W. Burns is considered to be one of the OGs of the Sasquatch investigation area. In fact, there is a rumor. I wasn't able to substantiate this, and this is a bold claim, Cotton. This is a bold claim that he was the one that coined the term Sasquatch. And I'm like, huh? What? I don't know about that now. That's a bold claim, sir. And I couldn't
That is a
find.
bold
I couldn't find. It sounded like sounded a little bit of fluffy in there, right? Like
suspect. Right.
suspect, little suspect, right?
Yeah. Right.
But however, he kept several very detailed logs, short stories and events, not only from this tribe, but any other tribe that was in the area that had these type of stories. He would document them, research them, send them off to UC Berkeley, believe it or not. UC Berkeley down there in California. He would send it down there, and they would correspond. And UC Berkeley actually sent expeditions to this place, to a specific mountain called Mount Moors or something like that. I think it's down here, to try to investigate these things. And the First Nation scouts refused to escort them. They were like, no. And again, the Ancient Enigma files, how not to get yourself murdered in the woods, is ignore Native Americans at your own risk. If they tell you, stay off Mount what,
the indigenous people, they have no idea what's going on in the woods around them.
Right?
None at all.
If they say, hey, do whatever you want.
They've just lived there for thousands of years or anything like
survived
that.
with no electricity.
And done well, thrived.
Yeah, thrived, raised babies, right? And when they tell you to stay off Mount Death, and you choose to go,
probably do it.
And you choose to go to Mount Death.
Don't, a good idea.
Don't be surprised if you find out why they call it Mount Death. Anyways,
or at least go ask some more questions, right? Like, hey, that roughly translates to Mount Death. Why? Why do you call it Mount? Well, that's because where people die, they go up there and they die.
People die, they never come back. Strange mist, strange lights, strange sounds, and they're never seen again.
Explosions, fire in the sky. Yeah, no, I think I'm a pass.
Yeah, but if you just make a left and go around to Mount, Lollipops, you're good. Just walk around Mount Lollipop.
Yeah, I'll follow. Yep, that's good directions. I'm going that way, sir.
So the UC Berkeley kept sending these expeditions up there, but then they were offering these guys $10 a day, and that was big money back in 1871, right? $10 a day, right? To just escort them. They're like, we're good, man. This is doomed to failure. And so the white boys would go out into the woods, come back 3 weeks later, half dead, starved to death, emancipated. And they're like, yeah, you were right. And the guys are like, yeah, bro, yeah, gringo, like, yeah, I told you, don't go to Mount Death. Anyways. So, never heard a story like this before, have you, Jay?
No, never.
You don't really get down in Central America, and I gotta put this out here for you people with gender studies degrees. The Americas run from Argentina all the way to Canada. It's North America, Central America, and South America. It's not just America.
Believe it or not, believe it or not, it almost touches Antarctica.
Almost.
Top
to bottom.
Pretty long. Yeah, it's huge.
You don't ever hear. I've never heard any Bigfoot or Sasquatch stories happening in South America. They have other things down there as well. Central America, especially.
That's because all the jaguars and snakes and crap in the jungle already killed the Sasquatches.
Yeah. So exactly.
It's not a friendly environment for that type of creature.
And no caves. Not a lot of caves, man.
There's not a lot of apes down there either.
Yeah, exactly.
Big apes, right?
And so Central America, you hear a lot of Sasquatch stories, but you don't hear a lot of abduction stories, right? In Canada, that's their thing. I take that back. Mount Shasta in California, there's some pretty good abduction stories out there. Mount Shasta, there's
a lot of stories about Mount Shasta. I've just started to brush the surface of some of that stuff. Yeah. I've been doing some research on that, but I got to get deeper into it.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, let's dig into this, brother. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking a lot of science and technical mumbo jumbo, and I've been proving how useless theoretical physicists are, how philosophy is trash, how Einstein was wrong, and how Tesla is the GOAT. So I figured today, you know what?
Well,
you know
and
what?
so there's so many things there to unpack,
You know
but
what?
you've got me like on 3 or 4 of those. I don't even know
The
how
only
many you've
physicist
named
that
off.
matters, the Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern. He was a pilot, sir.
Oh, he's a
Depending on
pilot?
which
My bad.
one we're talking about,
My
or the
bad.
cop. I
My
don't
bad.
know.
He was
One of them was a cop in Baltimore, believe it or not.
right.
Guy Gardner. He
So,
was a Baltimore cop.
but you
Nobody
nerd.
should give that guy.
Close.
Nobody should give that guy a ring.
You're mint, bro. You're mint.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge comic book nerd. I'm unapologetic about it.
So, yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So, 1871, Seraphine Long, 17 years old, considered a woman, was walking back from gathering. She was just a hunter-gatherer civilization on the reservation. Simple life. No TV, no newspaper, no telephones, no internet, no carrier pigeons. You know, word of mouth was how things got done. She was supposed to get married to this guy who had a pretty cool name. I think it was called Joseph Thunderbolt or something like that, right? It's pretty awesome name, right? She was walking back to, I don't know, would you call it a village? Or what would you call it? Like
call
a
it
village. Call it a village, man. She was walking back to her village thinking about her future husband, right? A brave. All of a sudden, man, a big ass paw shoots out of the bushes and easily just picks her up. Easily picks her up, right? Holds her down with one hand, and he rubs like this type of, she said it was some type of like tree gum on her eyes, right? Like some type of sap, right? To hold her eyes down, right? He rubs it down.
Mm-hmm.
And he rubbed tree gum. I don't know what tree gum is. I guess it's some type of sap, right?
All right. You've been in the South, man. You know the pine trees and the pine tar.
Yeah,
it's pine tar.
Okay, all right. So pine tar, right? So we call it pine tar in the South, right? So tree gum on her face, man. Holds it down. Picks her up. Guess what, baby? It's you and me. And he takes off. He takes off running through the bushes, right? And here's where things for me, I start to believe her story, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you've ever been in, we've talked about this before, being in the military. If you've ever been in a traumatic situation in the military, I actually heard a guy talking about this today on a podcast. You remember the dumbest stuff, right? Like the dumbest things possible, right? It's like all heck could be going off around you, and you're like, man, he's wearing white socks. It's like that type of stuff will come in your head, right? Like that. So she's telling him that this guy, she didn't call him a Sasquatch. She said, a wild man took me. 7 feet tall, big and hairy. Easily had her and was running, right? She said he was traversing at a high pace, going through bushes, running for a great distance. And she said, I'm quoting now, she said, I could not help but admire how strong and fast and how easily he was breathing, right? And that detail right there means like, wow, like this, like that's
right.
Very specific to say, right? Most people would be terrified.
Yeah, because that's an outlier, right?
Yeah.
Like, she noticed he wasn't panting when he was running.
Yeah. This dude was in shape, man. So
that's
like,
interesting.
She said he was very strong, very agile, and she said specifically, I could not help but admire how easily he was breathing. Wasn't even winded carrying her, right? And so they're running. He's running. He's clearing massive distance or whatever, and he comes to this river, right? And I guess this is a pretty serious river, right? Not for the weak. Mm-hmm. Not for him.
Like a stream or a creek. This is a river.
A river. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, like there's a current on there, right?
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.